Hey, hi, it's Denise Mortimer here, and I'm feeling called to just share, just allow what is going to come through to come through. And my point of focus at this point, this time in my life, has been around really what it means to let go and let God. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer in here. I'm not a God person. I would have said I'm not a God person, but these days I'm understanding God in a different way. I'm understanding the God within us, the that divine intelligence that exists within us. Now, I was listening to something by Wayne Dyer just this morning, as a matter of fact, and I think it's probably the second or third time I've listened to this in the course of my life. And Wayne talks about, it says, like, the moment that you die, until your body starts decaying, your body weighs exactly the same the moment you die and from the moment before you died. It weighs exactly the same. And it's like we are the essence of who we are is not our body. Like, we are not this body. We are spiritual creatures having a human experience. We're not a human creatures having a spiritual experience. We are spirits who've come. We are a slither of source energy that comes here to live on purpose. And we forget that we are here to live on purpose. And we live out of purpose because we live like, I guess the best way to describe it is like in the Truman Show. That was that film with Jim Carrey where he was born and every piece of his life was orchestrated. Well, you know what? We're kind of the same. Every bit of our life is being orchestrated for us until we decide, till we come home to who we truly are, until we let the brilliance within come out, that God, that divine intelligence that's within us, that exists within every single one of us. It's not like it's not skipped anyone. Every single one of us is here with something inside that needs to come out, no matter where we are, no matter whether we judge ourselves that there's some sort of a pecking order or worthiness order. We're all here to fulfill a divine purpose. And the only job we really have is to move beyond the human conditioning to recognize what our soul is here to do, what our spirit is here to do. And the and I'm gonna say the word battle, but I hate even using that word because it just sounds like it's hard work. But the first battle we have is, and I say the first, and the thing is that it may be just the only battle we ever have, is to undo all of the conditioning that we've been born into. It's getting rid of all of those layers of limitations that they just keep coming up. And it's like, on one side, you wanting to grow into this person that you're supposed to be, and on the other side, it's like you still got the voice of your mother or your father or some significant person from your childhood that's coming up and sabotaging you. And it goes on and on and on, and you think you've battled one and you're like, okay, I've done it, and then the next one comes along and the next one comes along, and it becomes a continuous evolutionary process. Some people never get beyond level one. Some people stay. If this were a video game, some people stay at that level one forevermore, and they never really challenge it, because you can stay comfortable, or what you believe is comfortable, like what someone else has dictated as comfortable. Get a job, have a nice family, get a job, settle down, have one holiday a year, whatever your conditioning has meant to create you into. That can be quite good, that can be quite satisfying. And I guess, no, it couldn't be satisfying because we end up, I don't believe illness is a natural part of who we are. Illness, and I'm going to probably grossly misquote here, but I think it's Joe Dispenza who says, it's more than 80% of illnesses are psychologically, or it's the origins are psychological, because we have unprocessed emotion. We have to go through these things. We have to work through these emotions before we can get to the truth of who we are. We have to process all of these things that we used to believe were true, but are now blocking us. They're like, it's like we're traveling down this road and then there's just these constant roadblocks and we have to figure out a way around them. And often it's just we need to go through them. We have to work our way through them. And then we get to the other side. And when we get to the other side, you know what our job is then when we get to the other side is to reach out our hand to someone who's still back there. And back there is not a judgment call on their character, but just in terms of their evolutionary process. Our job is to reach our hand out and say, come on, come over. I got through it. I survived it. And you can too. And when you get to the other side, you're going to see it really is this like beautiful place with like butterflies and meadows and no hay fever. It's the difference between heaven and hell, because most of us are living in a hell. Most of us are living in a hell that has been created and shaped by just culture. And we are entering into a new age of awareness where we have permission, and it's not self-indulgent. People, oh, it's self-indulgent. Oh, what do I feel? What do I feel? It's not at all self-indulgent. It's your divine mission. And I feel that society has been has conditioned us to believe that what is the calling in our soul is not that important, because we believe we have to accommodate and live by the rules that have been then set out for us. And my invitation to you is that that's not the truth. That's the truth, is that you're here for much more than that. And your job is to inquire, you know, what am I here for? What will you have me do? And you can, you can raise your hands up. It can be, whether it's to God or whether it's to universal energy, divine intelligence, call it what you want, but to raise your hands up and say, like, what will you have me do? Where will you have me go? What will you have me do? And be guided by that intuitive nudge of what you're supposed to be doing. Because when you get into alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, illness becomes something that it's a word, and it's not it's a condition. It's a word. It's not who you are. Your illness becomes something that is, I don't understand illness. I don't do illness, because you're living your truth. When we are repressed, when we're not living our truth, I once had a friend that I met with in London who I'd been to school with and had, achieved a huge amount, like the kind of cultural status that we would say, wow, that's absolutely incredible, working on a global scale. And when we met to have a drink in London, this friend said to me, because I just left my job at that time, he said, I really admire that you left your job and you're pursuing your dreams. And he said, because I was so full of potential, there was so much pressure on me to perform in a certain way, like kind of like a dancing monkey. That he had to fulfill someone else's desire for his life, and what he really wanted to do was like be a musician, and be an artist, and that was almost taken off the table for him. So his soul's purpose was taken away from him because of expectations other people had about what was supposed to be the path for his life. And so I guess my message today is to allow yourself to let go of the expectations, what's supposed to happen for you, to let go of the anxiety and the worry and the fear, the anxiety that maybe money's not coming, the fear that maybe you're not good enough, it's just so many things that are like piled on top of us that make us feel bad, make us feel less than. My invitation to you today is like, what would it be like to let that go? What would it be like to let that go? If you want to know more about how to let that go, this is the kind of work I do with people. We do deep work, excavating all those old stories, removing layer upon layer upon layer to allow you to step into the truth of who you are. If that feels like something you want to know more about, drop me a message below, send me a private message, however you want to connect with me, carrier pigeon or whatever, however you want to connect with me, reach out. For some of you, this is going to be like, yes, I really need to speak to Denise because I believe that I'm ready to excavate and release the truth of who I am, and others will be thinking, what on earth is she talking about? Whatever camp you're in, it's everything is perfect, everything is fine. From my heart to yours, I wish you the most wonderful day. Stay in touch and love you lots. Bye.